All right, we're going live anytime now. Hang on.
You just tell me when.
Cats.
And we're live.
We're real
Hey,
good at being.
everybody. Welcome to the New Hope Q&A for our ministry leaders and pastors. We're so glad you are joining us today on this Wednesday evening. I am going to start by asking our wonderful youth director, Chris Temple, if he will lead us in a word of prayer.
Sure.
Thanks.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for this opportunity that we can bring ourselves together and just be as open and shareful as possible to inform our wonderful congregation and our community of what's going on our campus and our virtual worlds. And God, just bless us, continue to bless us as we strive and fulfill the purpose of delivering the good news to people. It takes more than what we've been through to stop us, and we will continue on to do it no matter what. And God, we just thank you for everyone who is going to join us here this evening, and just guide us and lead us to do what you would want us to do, and guide us with your Holy Spirit. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Chris. So, Mandy, what is our first question?
One of the first questions we got was, when things get back to, quote, normal, will we be able to continue to meet via Zoom for connect groups, Bible studies, ministries, and more?
Okay, good question.
Yeah.
I think it just depends. I mean, there are some meetings and some groups where Zoom has been so successful, and we've actually increased the number of people involved. And I would say for those groups that they should continue Zoom. For others, it's been a hardship and they want to meet in person, and that's perfectly fine. So I think every individual connect group and ministry area needs to decide kind of how they're going to function going forward. I know there are many meetings that I've been in that I think, wow, Zoom is awesome. There's no need for us to drive up to the church. And then there's other times where I wish I was in person, where I could be sitting around a table with people and holding their hands and praying with them. And so I think the answer is it depends. And every group is going to have to make that decision. Does anybody else want to pipe in on that one?
I think it could be a combination of things, combination of meetings. There'll be times when people say, well, I'm going to be out of town. I can't be there, but I'd like to be. We can do it with Zoom. We're learning how to use these instruments, and I think we'll use them as much as we need and can. Yeah.
I think also for children's ministry and different portions of family ministry, it gives us an opportunity to connect with people that we might not have been able to connect with on Sunday. Like, we just had a great Zoom meeting with our Discover kids. We had 13 kids Zoom in and 8 of our leaders, and it was phenomenal. And it's something we have been talking about, and it's something that we will probably continue to do even after it's done. And Club 56 has been doing it for 4 weeks now. So it's really great.
Awesome.
And I would definitely say for young adults college, it's they're going to be excited to get back to school in the fall, but we have spent all this time together already. So it's going to be great for those seniors that are graduating and going away again in the fall, that they always know that New Hope is there. They don't find they always have us as a small group. We're always there for them. So I'm excited for the college aspect of it, where but everyone can go back to school. And guess what? If you can't make it when we're all meeting live, I'll record it and send it out to y'all, or so no, it does. It opens up a whole, it's been wonderful. But just like Vicki said, it depends on, what is going on. But for the college aspect, thumbs up.
Good.
We can go into this. This kind of leads into that. What do the other ministry leaders that didn't say anything, how do you see Zoom working in your ministry, and what successes are you having with it?
I'm having a great success with it. We do our youth time on Sunday evenings, as well as our confirmation class, and we've had great attendance, and it's always a fun time. We are challenged when wanting to interact and do games, and it's caused us to stir our creativity up a little bit. But I think that with that and what we've been doing on a daily basis is just by introducing youth to the church and to the community has been great, because it gives the church an opportunity to put a new perspective into the youth, because they get to know these students and they get to know what they're all about. They get to see where their faith is at and what they've done to work on who they are and what they do with the youth group. And I would like to do more of that. I would like to, one, share more of the youth that way to more of the church. And two, I would like to share more of the youth with more of the youth. Because like Shelly said and AJ, when you have these things going on and we're in our building and doing our thing, not everybody can come. So you have to reach out. And this has been a sort of open door for us to reach out into the people that have not been able to come for one reason or another. But we want to reach them too. And the people that we have reached that I haven't seen in a while or just hit and miss, they're so thankful for it. So we need to continue that. We need to grow with what we've been served accidentally.
Yeah, we didn't know it was probably the value of it. Now we know it, and now we know there's it opens a whole world of possibilities. In our case, we have been using it to not only for our I would say inside the church interaction. We have brought some speakers from other states and to our meetings, and we have invited pastors. For example, a couple of weeks ago, we had a pastor from Houston speaking in our Thursday Zoom Bible study, and we live streamed it on Facebook. And we had another one from Georgia. And this week we're gonna have a women pastor speaking from Houston as well. So it opens a whole bunch of new possibilities that I think is a lot cheaper, by the way, instead of flying those people in that we never thought we'd ever dream of it. True. Now we can just put in front of a camera and be blessed with the message that they have and expose our people to new phases, fresh words, and fresh inspiration from God. So it's amazing.
All right, that's awesome. The next question we have was, why do we have people text here during the services, and do they have to do it at a specific time? So they're wanting to know why we still do attendance if we're not meeting in the building.
Call from protection.
I think it's important for us to, first of all, people should know that we report our attendance to the district and conference. And we want to know how we're doing. And so texting here lets us know how many people are engaged, not simply, you can have the worship service on and not be engaged, but if you're paying attention and you're actually texting here, then we know that you are engaged in watching the service. That's really helpful for us. It gives us a measure to know how many people are watching and paying attention. And it provides the first time we did it, it provided a baseline, and it gives us something to measure our attendance against then in every subsequent week. We want to know we're reaching people. We want to know that we continue to grow. It's part of our mission of making more and better followers of Jesus. And we count people because people count. I know that's very cliche, but it's very true. Would anybody else like to? Riley, you want to speak?
Yeah, well, I wanted to say something from a technical standpoint, and that's that it does not switch to me. I'm being director. I can't. One thing is the stats we get from people actually watching the video online. Those are like very hard to read because, like on Facebook, for instance, if someone only watches for like 3 seconds, Facebook counts that. So when you text us, that gives us, like she said, a baseline to compare those kind of arbitrary stats we get online. So even if in the past, if you're like, well, my Facebook says I'm watching, well, we'd still like you to text so that we have a copy of that.
Yep.
And I'll actually say too, it doesn't matter when you do it, but we do take account. I'm the one that goes through and counts it, and I'll do it at the end of probably beginning Monday morning. As long as you've done it before Monday morning, we'll count you as watching the service. Somebody did ask that as well. Sorry about that, Pastor Riley. Did you have something to add to that?
Well, I think the comments are another way of interacting with us. It's kind of a neat deal. So any way you can interact, you can't touch somebody, but you can text somebody. Now that's the difference, and that's important to be able to do that, especially to some people.
Yeah, and I was going to say that we also have available the text here in Spanish, which, by the way, you can learn a new word this evening, is aquí, right, Mandy? You did a great job with that one.
Absolutely.
So aquí, you can text aquí, which means here, and you will get all the subsequent text in Spanish, and you can also count. We can also count attendance in Spanish as well.
And also on to what Riley said, when we really want people to interact and worship. I know we want you to be worshiping, but it's so encouraging to us to hear your comments. And that's a positive thing about worshiping together virtually, that we in-person worship, you probably wouldn't yell out your question or comment, but it's perfectly acceptable in virtual worship. So, and it's encouraging, and we want to hear from you. So do that. We definitely want to know questions, comments, encouragement. It all, it feeds us. It feeds our soul to see you do that.
I know I enjoy watching and trying to see what the chat room is saying.
Oh yeah.
When I'm watching the worship 8 and then 9:30 is different, and I just enjoy watching what happens.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We actually had a comment come in that's just on it's right along here. It says, do you count those of us who don't text here, but we comment to let you know I'm watching? I can say that we do not count those people as being here, just because we're concentrating on them texting here. And then we do a little bit of a behind the scenes calculation on views and stuff. But so it would probably be very beneficial if you could still text the word here, even if you are commenting in the chats. Okay, so next would be, is there a VBS and Blast Camp update?
There is. I'll take this one. We actually just sent out the form via email to all the families of New Hope and New Hope Early Learning, posted it on our Facebook page for VBS and Blast Camp. The major change we did do is we decided to push back to the July date. So our VBS and Blast Camp date is July 20th through the 24th. Registration forms are out, and the volunteer forms will go out tonight. They'll go out tonight. I've actually already had 7 people sign up for VBS. So it's good.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
And I'm going to show you too. We do have it up on the website for those that are looking how to register. Just head to findnewhope.com. Scroll down just a little bit. You'll see our VBS logo here for Focus. And you just click in, register for VBS here.
And I think you'll be getting the...
Mandy, that didn't go out on the screen share didn't go out, by the way. Sorry.
Go ahead, Shaw.
We'll get the logo out for Blast Camp too to make sure. So VBS is for kids who will be entering BPK or 4-year-old preschool are eligible to enter through those who will be entering 6th grade. Blast Camp is for kids who will be entering 7th grade through 9th grade. And volunteers are needed for all ages for both camps. VBS is from 9 to 12. Blast Camp will have a volunteering component that is part of Vacation Bible School. And then it will continue until 5 o'clock on the same week. That's July 20th through the 24th.
Awesome. Another question came in for you, AJ, and it's regarding going deeper. What is being studied during going deeper, and how do you receive the link if you're interested in joining?
So we just finished up with Craig Rochelle, a live church, because the videos are there. I just need the email, or email me at AJ@Find New Hope. And if it's Michael, I got it from you, Michael, and I need to respond back to you. But we're starting a new one. So that is 7 o'clock, and I just email you the Zoom link. I have it set up every Tuesday night at 7, so everyone has the same information and knows that that goes to just the specific small group for that night on Tuesday night. But yes, please come join us. We have.
Are you going to do another live church, AJ?
Yes, I really like it because the tools are all there virtually.
Yeah.
I don't have to recreate something, and then I can pull out. It's been great. It's been a great tool. I used it prior to going virtual. I used it with my young adults, college age, but now with the Going Deeper, it's definitely been wonderful tools. Wonderful, very useful for any other leader as well.
Good.
Is that one of the links on the website, Mandy?
Or what's that?
A link to the Tuesday night? Because anybody can join Tuesday night, right?
They can. We don't have the Zoom link up there yet. We have it listed as it is one of our virtual meetings, so they can email us to get that Zoom link. We just want to keep it safe so that we know who's going into those small groups. So if you do go to our virtual connect groups, you'll be able to link it there and fill out the form, and we'll get back to you on the Zoom links for those.
Perfect.
Yeah. AJ, I'm going to stay with you because another one was asked too.
Okay.
What has New Hope been doing for the young adults, not the college age, but the young adults that aren't in college, since we've switched to the virtual world here?
Well, that is a great question because that has been an area that I have struggled with and asked some help with. So more of like a career, some young adults that are out of college or maybe not even going to college. So it would be a career group. So now everybody's home. And this is great for any of you that are careers, maybe just out of college, or it really doesn't matter. So next Wednesday at this time, 7 o'clock, we are going to start a career group. It's just a meet and greet, nothing serious, that I would be the leader and anybody else that wants to co-lead with me. Any suggestions? So that is something we're actually starting next Wednesday. So it is not for young adults college, because these are out of college or just in a career. So any of you that know anybody that would just like to spend some great time on Wednesday, we'd love to have you.
Awesome. We're going to switch gears a little bit here. It's about New Hope Early Learning. So they're asking, is New Hope Early Learning planning on opening in the fall? And how do they get the word out about registration?
The answer is yes. We're excited. We just hired a new director and she's awesome. We're excited about the team we're going to have. So I believe Mandy, why don't you speak to how you register?
So I'm going to try to share my screen again.
Okay.
You have to let me know if that goes out, Stuart. Did it?
Yes.
All right. So if you go to findnewhope.com and you click under ministries, you'll see our New Hope Early Learning link straight here, right at the top. Register online for the 2020-2021 school year. If you're just interested in our rates, to take a look at those to see if it's something that is feasible, you can just click here and get our rate sheet as well. So it's super easy. You can also call the preschool office. Their contact information is right here down at the bottom, as well as their email. So it's super easy. If you guys have any questions or anything, you can definitely call and we'll get back to you. And they're ready to go. The teachers are ready to go and Michelle's ready. So it's exciting.
Yeah. And I will say that we just sent out an email this afternoon to the entire church to say, hey, registration is open for New Hope Early Learning, and it gives a direct link to the registration packet. And also to let them know, anybody know, and it's not just for our church. New Hope Early Learning is a community school. It's open to our community. And we've made arrangements for the registration fees and things like that. We don't want that to be something that stops people from coming because of or registering because of where we're at in these times. So that did go out to the church. It's on Facebook. It's on the website. So there's easy ways to register.
Yeah.
And I'll add to, our new director is bilingual, right, Pastor Roberto?
Yay!
So we do have the opportunity, if there's a Spanish speaking component that needs to be met, we now have the opportunity to do that. So that's exciting for us to be one church in two languages, even at the school.
Yay, praise Jesus.
Okay, this is going to be a question that's for all of us that are here that's come in. What are some of the new things that the church has started doing since we've been virtual? And I'll kind of start us off here. A lot of stuff is behind the scenes sometimes, I think, but for me, we've started implementing these Q&As. We have a lot of ideas that bounce off of us in our communication meeting and our staff meeting. So these Q&A is something that we started doing. I've been meeting with small group leaders that I usually don't have the opportunity to meet with to go over Zoom and Connect Zone. We do the moderating on New Hope Online. AJ and Sarah have helped and filled a void on New Hope Online where they're moderating services for us. So when we're chatting, it's me at 8, AJ at 9:30, and Sarah at 11. And then Stuart uses the platform to stream the services for us. So it's just a platform to stream those out. We also have a new chat feature on our website. So we've had a lot of questions come in. If you just go to the website, click the little chat bubble, we'll answer you. Somebody on staff.
Can you show that to people, and can you share your screen, Mandy? Yeah. Because I think that's really helpful.
Let me get it up here. So right down here, as long as that's pushed out, you'll see this little chat bubble. And it says, welcome. And how can we help you? And you just type in there. And then right now it's just myself that gets that. But I'll respond back to you from 9 to 9. I'm there responding back. So that's some of the stuff that I've done. It's just been, we've been trying new things and it's great. And that's my thing. Let's just try it. Let's just try it. So I'll let somebody else take over for that one, for what you guys have been doing.
I can go. We talked about it earlier. We've been Zooming in different ways with the Club 56 and Discover Kids. We have plans on getting ready to do online chapel with the New Hope Early Learning and the preschool. That should go into effect next week. With the things that we used to do in the Life Center, Exercise Church has taken place of what was Meet and Walk. Lisa Prowse is doing a great job leading that. It's a Facebook. They do a devotion daily, and then they snap a photo of their sweaty selfie and send it in, so that it's kind of an accountability and devotion group. So those are some of the things that kind of changed with what's happened as far as the virus. And then I will say food co-op is my favorite thing of what's changed with the virus. I love the way we do food co-op now.
Which we just tried something yesterday that seemed to work better than we had maybe thought it might. We did a little praise and worship music while people were going through the line, and we got good comments about it. So probably we'll keep doing it. So,
yeah, everybody loved it, Jeff. They said it was like a drive-through worship party. So it was very well received, and it was great. It was great.
It was. Then we learned that we don't want to be in the sun.
Yeah. It's only getting hotter.
Yeah, it's got hot quick. But we learned too, we're learning a lot doing these taping the services, and people are adapting to what we have to do that. You know, it's like being in a recording studio. Freeze your pose for a minute, and then we got to take it. Do we need to take it again? Do we have to do it 2 times? Can we just take it in one shot? It's gotten to be, a challenge, but the people are really cooperating well, and then Stuart winds up doing his magic on mixing everybody together. So it's been a learning curve for us, but we're adapting. Yeah.
The other thing I'm excited about was I'd been actually wanting us to do like an online church. We've been streaming for years, but it was very passive the way we were streaming. We weren't really doing anything active with it. So I'm really glad we jumped on the church online platform where we have a moderated chat. And we were kind of forced into it right away, but I'm very glad that we did that. It's really much more like an online campus more than it was before. I mean, it was, like I said before, it was very passive before. We were pushing the stream out, but we weren't really like interacting that much with the people. So that's something we'll have to figure out when we're all back to actually doing our normal Sunday morning jobs. We'll have to figure out, maybe that's a new volunteer opportunity for us to look for.
Yeah. Because I think online is truly going to be our third location.
Mm-hmm.
It really will be a third location.
What was the t-shirt? The church has left the building.
Hey, that's a good one, Elvis.
Church can happen anywhere.
Yep. What'd you say, Pastor Roberto?
Church can happen anywhere.
Absolutely. We are the church. We're the church. And we're connecting with people. I think one of the coolest things is there's so many people who have maybe been marginally connected to the church for years, who are connecting with us virtually. And that is such a praise. You know, our mission is to make more and better followers of Jesus. And so we have to really think creatively about how to do that. And I think we are doing that through this online platform and through the way the different videos that we're posting throughout the week. And so we are going to have to continue doing that long term, even when we are meeting in person. The online campus will always be an important part of who New Hope is.
And I think people have been more extroverted in their faith in the times like this. I would say in sharing their faith and as somebody was saying a few minutes ago, like interacting in the middle of worship. That in other times that was not a possibility in a million years for people to do that. They're doing that now, and also it's been a joy for me to see some. I would say small group leaders. Sunday school teachers, kids, children's ministry volunteers stepping up in front of a camera and do our own virtual school, virtual teaching, virtual lessons. It's awesome. That's what's being new, because we were so dependent on our physical presence in the buildings that we never thought about doing that. People have stepped up and doing that. And also our podcast has grown in, I would say, in relevance, because people now they probably have more time, just instead of just reading it, maybe listening to the podcast and streaming from different places. We have we said that was going to something that we were going to leverage, and we have done that. We have streamed from a different place every Sunday, our service, and this past Sunday we streamed from Dover at 11 o'clock. There, in normal times we wouldn't be able to do that because we were in Logan Hall. So now we're doing that as well. That's a new thing that we're doing. People creating worship spaces at home. People taking pictures of their formal, I would say, altar worship space around which they meet and they worship at home. That's awesome, and it's amazing to see what God can do in the midst of all this.
Yeah. And not only the 3 minutes of faith that you all are doing, Pastor Roberto, with the Spanish speaking congregation, but we've got small group leaders who are doing Bible points and scripture memory verses in their house. They're like, hey, I'm working from home, I can do it. And it's been a joy to get to know some of the students from Passion Students and from YAM because of the one-on-one interviews that Chris and AJ are doing.
Oh, yeah, those are great. Absolutely. Those are great.
Absolutely.
I think we're also discovering not only are we leaving the church, we're leaving Sunday. We're becoming a 7-day-a-week church instead of a 1-day-a-week church. And I have thoroughly enjoyed the Chris's interviews with the young people. I've gotten to know some young people I would never have gotten to know otherwise. The same way with Amy's. And I just love what the children are doing. And I've encouraged the church to do that, to go to those. You don't have to be a young person to tune in to Chris's interviews or Amy's interviews. You can go on there yourself and get to know these young people. And so I think I hope that stays around, because that is another contact. So.
Yeah. And I mean, we just got to know a little more about Kaylin and Augustine the last week also. So it's not just the younger people. It's just, it's great. I mean, we serve along. I think it's easier to share your testimony one-on-one, and we're putting it out there. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It answers the question. I have a sign in my office that says, "What about Monday?" And this answers that question. Like Raleigh was saying, it's not going to stop on Sundays anymore. It's a 7-day-a-week all the time, and that's beautiful because it's more connection, it's more foundation, and it just so many beautiful things come with that.
And Chris, isn't it funny? Is that from Orange 3 years ago?
It is.
from Orange 3 years ago. For 3 years, we've been saying what happens on Monday.
Yeah.
And this has forced us to look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, not just Sunday.
Shelly, that also makes me think of the one time I got to go to Orange, and it was, the whole thing was, it's personal.
Yeah.
You make it personal. And when the building's not there and we're all, you change it up and you make it personal. So yes, couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And that I saw a stat that I sent to I think I sent it to everybody in here. That says that a 1 hour church service leaves 167 other hours in a week for open for ministry. And I think we're working on those extra hours now. So, okay, moving on to the next question. It would be, how does someone send in a donation for food co-op if they want to gift a unit of food for somebody?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that you can just give online. And I think if you give online, you just need to note that it's for food co-op. You can also send in a check and just put on your memo line food co-op. And please know that your money goes a long way in food co-op. We charge $5 a unit. So if just a small donation is so very helpful. So anything that you can give would be wonderful.
About how much does it cost us? Like yesterday, how much did we lose, for instance?
How much did we lose? Well, we,
587. Remember, Vicki?
It was more. I had to buy eggs. Eggs are high. It really depends on the price of eggs. They happen to be high now. Yeah, $587 a unit. Mm-hmm. I would say that yesterday we spent an additional $200. So because we buy in bulk, we are able to get a really good deal, and we do get, some people donate produce. We have like 100 pounds of potatoes donated. So every time somebody donates something like that, it's a huge help. There are weeks where we have to spend more, and there's weeks where we spend less. So I don't know if that's helpful or not. But
hey, while you're on that topic, I have a question for the food co-op people. When we started the golf tournament, I've had to cancel it. So I have already donated boxes of pretzels, Cheez-It things, separate packages. Everything's already packaged, and I think I have 120 of each unit. And I got about 3 different things. Can y'all use those?
Absolutely. They would be thrilled. Just think of the kids that are at home.
Okay.
We'd love.
I'll give them to you tomorrow.
Snack.
For the next time. At least we can use them and put them in the bags. Mm-hmm. That would be 3 other items. There was 3 things that I think I had 120.
Yeah, that would be a nice little treat for the kids. Normally we do produce and eggs, but now you have kids who are home, and we're having to feed them 3 meals a day. Okay. And that means much higher grocery bills.
Okay. Well,
I think important too to know that food co-op, the volunteers for food co-op are phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Linda and Shari and Carol Olive. I mean, I'm going to miss people if I just start naming off names, but there are so many people that come in. And so for the past, 2 food co-ops now, they come in gloved up, masked up, and they're bagging up. We did 118 units this week, and they're doing 118 units, getting out. They get there early. They walk into their cars. They're phenomenal volunteers.
We have great people. And the other thing to know about food co-op, we switched about 5 years ago, we switched from a pantry to a co-op. So people pay $5 per unit. You can have up to 2 units. And we did that because we wanted people to have a little skin in the game, and it's not charity. It's they're paying into a co-op, and anybody can do it. And so it's for everybody. It's for the members of the church. It's for members of our community. And so anybody can participate in food co-op, and it's just $5 per unit. It's a great deal.
And I want to get on and say that we'd been doing it for a long time before I started participating, because I think I had in my mindset that it was for the less
Somebody
well
else.
off. Yes, for somebody else, and it's not. And you get a lot of food. Like, I've never seen such carrots. They were like as big as my arm. They were huge. I was just crazy, these carrots I got yesterday. So we did lots of things. I like just eating them raw, but Katie sliced them and cooked them. There's a bunch of things you can do. So anybody, literally, when we say anybody can do co-op, anybody can do co-op. Really, it's a lot of food. So I just wanted to pipe in and say that, because I know that was a hurdle I had to personally get over, and it was tricky.
And you know, the format change of co-op allows conversations to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start crying. We've added the worship component. It is phenomenal. It is one of my favorite things, you guys. It's phenomenal. And
well, go ahead, finish, Shelley.
If I can. We had, in talking to people, we had people that were coming and they said, hey, I did food co-op. A good friend of mine is a caterer. She goes, I'm making meals for front lines this week. So she did food co-op just so that she could go and make meals for first responders and the hospital. I've got neighbors that have stepped in and they're doing it. They're like, can anybody do this? I'm like, this is anybody. And then the worship component yesterday just like completed it. Yeah. Now we have worship, there's devotion, there's fellowship. It's phenomenal.
It is.
As you can tell, it's my favorite thing.
And one of the cool things, and she may or may not be listening. We had somebody who was new who came, and one of the joys is I get to pray with people who come, even in the drive-through format. We pray where, I'm wearing my mask and gloved up, and it's hot as heck, but we're praying. And a woman came and said her adult daughter woke up with a 103-degree fever, and she was really worried. She was worried it was COVID-19. So we prayed for healing. By the end of the day, the fever was gone. Her daughter is fine. And she sent me an email today, and it was like, praise God. God is so good. God is so good.
All the time.
And all the time.
All the time.
God is good.
Mm-hmm.
We also had a comment not to forget about our Meals on Wheels. They deliver over 100 meals every week to our shut-ins. So those are some awesome volunteers as well.
Oh, they are
another wow. It's just a wow.
Phenomenal. And it's every week. Those volunteers are there delivering meals every week, and they are phenomenal.
They are. And they're all masked up too.
Yeah. Another question came in along the lines of helping those in need. Are we seeing or hearing of needs for our low-income families at maybe McLean or Dover? And the second part of that is, are we seeing a need to help or encourage and uplift our first responders or those who are working on the front lines at hospitals like nurses and doctors? And if we do, how can we participate?
Roberto, why don't you speak to Dover?
Yeah, we do have Karina and Austin's pastors have been in contact with the community in Dover, and we normally take food to them every Saturday that we collect, get donated in Publix. We take it to them every Saturday, and so we've been in contact with them, directing them to some resources according to what they're needing, and also providing computers for kids to do the school from home. So it's like an ongoing thing. And yes, we need prayers, but we're in contact with our community in Dover as well.
Great.
Awesome.
We have not heard from McLean, but I'm glad someone mentioned that, because I can certainly reach out to the principal. And I think as far as providing meals and other kinds of things for our first responders, I think the easiest way would be if you know someone, or if you are a first responder, someone who works at a hospital, someone who works on the front lines, fire and rescue, paramedics, law enforcement, let us know, and let us know what would be helpful. Because we don't want to do something and put forth a lot of resources if it's not going to be helpful. We want to know from the people on the front lines, what is it that you need? And I know that we serve a lot. We have a lot of people in our church who are first responders. Please let us know. And then I think it would be great for small groups to step up and say, we've got this. We're going to respond. We're going to care for these people. So,
do we know who the first responders are?
We know who some of them are. Yes. I won't name them on this Q&A. That might be a bit of a call out, but we do have.
Let's talk about this at staff meeting.
Okay, good idea.
Put that down on the agenda.
Perfect.
And I know that we've talked in the Tuesday night dinner crew is more than happy to prepare a meal or two if they need to.
That's right. I remember you saying that. Okay, good.
Okay. We're switch gears just a little bit. Vicki, this question is for you that came in. It said, Vicki, you now have the title of executive pastor. Why did that change and what does it mean?
That's a really good question. Well, as executive pastor, I kind of oversee administrative things in the church, things like personnel. I work closely with SPR. I work closely with finance and even with trustees. So we realized that we had kind of a hole as far as especially in the personnel area. And so I kind of serve as in that supervisory function. I have these phenomenal people that I get to supervise, like Jeff and Stuart and Shelly and Mandy and the facilities guys. And I get to build relationships with these wonderful ministry leaders and kind of walk alongside them to make sure they have what they need to be successful and to help them achieve the mission of the church. So but mainly personnel, finance, and just kind of making sure everybody is in alignment with the mission and vision of the church.
The question was, why are you in that position?
Oh, why me?
Yeah. But that was simply because you had an interim pastor. And in order to have a continuancy, made sense that Vicki would take that part of the role that would normally have been for the senior pastor. And believe me, that was needed, and it was particularly right now. So, and she's done a remarkable job, and I appreciate it very much. Not only am I an interim, but I'm really only part-time. Don't tell anybody that. That I'm only part-time. But she certainly has filled the gap that is needed, and we thank her for her willingness to do that.
Well, it is an honor. I have the best job in the world.
Okay, so the next question, Vicki, I'm just going to put this out there because it falls in line with that. We had somebody submit that said, since we are not so busy in the maintenance department right now, why can't we use this time to work on our church grounds and landscaping? It seems that there's a lot of detail that needs to be done, like weed whacking, trimming, mulching, maybe planting some new plants in front of the social hall.
Okay. Well, we have 3 maintenance guys who are at the church almost every day. Actually, they're all 3 full-time. And they have been doing a lot of that kind of thing. They've been working on the grounds. They were at Dover today working on the grounds. They've also been working through the punch list on the new social hall. There were many, many, many things that needed to be completed and fixed, even though it was a new building. Things to make it so that it really will be finished, and they're almost done with that. They have been inventorying inventorying, is that a word? The sheds, which was something that needed to be done for years, and it's extremely tedious, and so that's been great. So we know what we have. And they've also been doing a lot of work in the sanctuary, where we used to have hospitality. It's now going to be a cry room and a bathroom again, and that's all had to be modified. So they've been really, really busy. And the grounds is definitely important. And we are going to do that. And especially as we move into the summer and we're expecting the rains, we don't want to plant a whole lot of stuff until we know that the rain is coming. But that is certainly something that they have their eye on. So they've been working very hard, and I am really proud of our facilities guys.
Awesome. We just have a couple more questions. I do have a couple comments that came in. Mary Ross from the Tuesday Night Kitchen crew said they're ready to start cooking again. So here's that. And then Paul Brooks said, Vicki, you're sort of a chief operating officer, if to look at it in a business sense. So they put that in there. Another question that we had submitted was if you could give a follow-up on the calling of our members and connecting with them. We had our small group leaders do that, and how that's going and how the feedback's been from that process.
So we made it through the list, which, first of all, that's the miracle. We made it through the list. We had so many amazing volunteers who have called people, who have sent cards, who have emailed. And we have gotten all kinds of wonderful feedback. In fact, AJ, you were one of the ones who actually did some of the calling, right?
Yes, and you know, these were, like you were saying, the people that may have fallen off and hadn't been attending. So when you did call or hear from an email, they were just like so thrilled and so grateful for thinking of them, and they were fine, and just made sure, you know, do you know we have, you know, everything's virtual now, make sure you check us out. But most of the time they were, you know, didn't need anything, grateful for the conversation, the phone call. Like you said, it was amazing that we did get through the list. But also let them know that there's, you know, you don't have to, the church has left the building, you know, sure. There's ways you can still, you know, plug in. So it was a blessing to do those lists.
We ought to do that again. We really should.
We are. I mean, considering we have at least the reality is we have at least the month of May where we are going to be virtual. And so we're going to go through the list again. I've actually started the process of, I think we have the A's and the B's and the C's taken care of for the second round. But if you are willing to take on some of that task, please just send me an email, Vicki@findnewhope.com. I've heard from many of you. I thank all the volunteers and the people who have been willing to help. I thank you so much. I mean, it really, really means a lot. It's so important for us to stay connected.
Awesome job. Another question was, they really loved the music at Food Co-op and the opportunity that provided for everybody that was there. They asked about doing a drive-in worship service.
Wow. I really like it that somebody wants more, another contact. That's a real good thing to want to have. So, but it's kind of, it would take a lot of thinking and planning to do that. So we appreciate the suggestion, and let's address that. Put that down for the second agenda item at our staff meeting. What is the feasibility? Can we do that? And would it help? And so we will take that into consideration. Thank you for that.
Perfect. Do we have any idea on when we'll be back, or is it, I don't know if we can answer that or we even have any idea, but do we have an idea?
I was hoping Mother's Day. It really was. And, but I think realistically, it's going to be June, maybe even the middle of June. And even when we get started back, there's going to be a lot of people that just aren't going to trust being in a group. Mm-hmm. But everybody wants to start back now, and that pleases me a great deal that they want to. We would really be in trouble if somebody said, I don't care when they start back. I don't want to go. So people are wanting it back, and we want to get back. So that's kind of a neat thing. But I don't think realistically, if we get started by the 1st of June, I think we would be really way ahead of the curve.
And probably we're going to have to start, and it won't be all at once. I would imagine we'll kind of roll out slowly. In fact, Shelley and I were just talking today about, the children's ministry. It's absolutely impossible to social distance in a nursery. And so, we're thinking about contingency plans. If the CDC guidelines are, yes, you can meet, but you have to social distance, then we're going to have to rethink kind of how we do church. And that's okay. We're willing to do that. We're thinking out of the box and kind of going with the flow, trusting God in the process. So he has this.
Let's put that down as another item for us to talk about. Yeah. We really haven't talked about that. Because that's one of the benefits of this question answer thing.
Yes. I mean, maybe all of this is hypothetical. Maybe over the summer, we just do family worship and we start children's ministry back up when school starts. I mean, these are all ideas that we're tossing around to keep everybody safe. We just want everybody to be safe, but we do want to be able to see each other's faces.
Not only that, but we still have another month and a half to really be creative with what we're doing now to see how far we can take this. Because I don't think there's any limits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, we're wrapping up here. We had a comment come in that's a shout out to Claudia Ingram's Quilt Guild for they've been making masks for the first responders. And we had one of our SPR members say, thank you again, Team New Hope Strong, is what he said.
I wanted to mention those lines of making face masks. Felicidad, our well-known and dear Felicidad, she has been making face masks for the police officers and for some of our church members as well. So good for that too.
Awesome job. I have our final question, and this would be, will there be an announcement about our new pastor this Sunday?
Want to take that one, Riley?
Yeah, this is announcement Sunday. So there definitely will be an announcement made. Staff Parish has put together with Stuart's help, apparently a very good video that will be in the worship services this Sunday. I think it's going to come early, isn't it, Stuart? The announcement video.
Yeah, it's part of the beginning of the service, so it's right near the beginning. So don't be late to tuning into the service. You have to wait till the next hour.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Be on time to worship.
Yeah, and don't ask the moderator because I'll tell you, stay for the next service. Just kidding.
I believe our audience is going to be bigger. It's going to be bigger this Sunday, right?
Make sure you text the word here when we ask this. We know you're there. Well, that's all the questions we have tonight. I just want to say thank you to everybody. We've had a lot of comments come in that says that they're still very informative. So I guess we'll go ahead and schedule ours for next week. We'll talk on Monday at staff on what day and what time. If you guys have any questions, for those of you that are watching, make sure you put them in the comments. You can email me, Mandy at Find New Hope. You can use our submission form on all the posts you see. You can email any of us here on this on the panel too. We'll be sure to get those answered, and we'll see you next week.
Love you, people.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Yours.